Okay, today we're going to take a look at U3 arc length. It says the radius of a circle is 6 meters. What is the length of a 135-degree arc? Now we know that if we went all the way around a circle, that entire arc all the way around the circle has a special name, and that's called the circumference. The circumference of a circle can be found using the formula 2 pi r. But that's for the entire circle. In this case, we just want to know what is the length from here to here. Now, the entire circle is 360 degrees, but the arc that we want to know is just 135. So as a fraction, that could be written as 135 over 360. So in front of or behind the 2 pi r, I want to multiply by the measure of the angle, which I'm going to call theta, over 360. And that's my formula for the arc length. Okay, so arc length equals 2 pi r. That would have been the entire circle, but because we're just finding a piece of it, we're multiplying by whatever the angle is out of 360, because 360 would have been the entire thing. So for this problem, when we sub in for arc length, which I'm just going to abbreviate and say AL for arc length, equals 2 pi. R is the radius, which is 6. And this theta means what angle they gave you. So 135 over 360. Now at this point I could go right to my calculator and type everything in. However, when I look at what the directions say, it says to give the exact answer in simplest form. The exact answer means that they want pi left in the answer. So when I use my calculator, I want to make sure that I don't put pi in initially. So 2 times 6 times a fraction, 135 over 360. I get 4.5 pi. Again, pi is in your final answer, but it's actually written as pi. Don't put that pi in your calculator and get a decimal that fills your calculator screen. Okay, let's go ahead and try another one. So again, the arc length equals 2 pi r. Well, that would be an entire circle, but because we don't want to find the arc length of an entire circle, we want to know how many degrees out of 360. So for this problem, I get 2 times pi times r. It tells me that r equals 9. And the angle that I'm finding for the arc is 180. Again, when I multiply this in my calculator, 2 times 9 times 180 over 360, which gives me 9. And then I carry down my pi. So 9 pi. Okay, so we just did one like this, so I'm going to go ahead and jump a level. I'll go ahead and do this one. It's really not much harder. It's still the arc length, same formula, 2 pi r times theta over 360. The only difference is that in this problem, they didn't tell you what the radius is. They told you the diameter. So we've done this several times. If the diameter is 2, the radius equals the diameter divided by 2, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. The radius is half the diameter. So 2 times pi times 1 times the arc length over 360. Okay, we're going to go ahead and multiply here. 2 times 1 is 2 times 180 over 360 is 1. 1 pi, or just pi. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jump a level. Okay, let me try one like this. It says the radius of a circle is 4 miles. What is the angle measure of the arc pi miles long? Okay, so here, notice that they used L to represent the arc length. I've been using AL, but they just used L, so I'm going to go ahead and use L. So arc length equals 2 pi r times theta over 360. Now notice what they gave you in this problem. It told us that L is pi. So we're not solving for the arc length here. We're actually solving for theta, the missing angle, equals 2 pi r, which is 4. Theta, I don't know what it is, so I'm going to leave it as theta over 360. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and clean this up. 2 pi times 4 is 8 pi times theta over 360. Okay, we want to get the theta over 360 by itself, so we have to get rid of the 8 pi because it's being multiplied. To undo it, we want to divide both sides by 8 pi. Here we're going to get 1/8 equals theta over 360. And at this point we could cross multiply. 8 times theta is 8 theta, and 1 times 360 is 360. I'm going to divide both sides by 8. 360 divided by 8, and we get 45 degrees. Okay, it's just 45 degrees. There's no pi in this answer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do one more for you. The arc length equals 2 pi r times theta over 360. They told me that the arc length is 6 pi times 2 pi times 8 for the radius times theta over 360. Again, we're going to clean up the right-hand side. 2 pi times 8, 16 pi times theta over 360. To get rid of the 16 pi, we need to divide both sides by 16 pi. Pi's cancel out over here. 6 over 16 can be simplified to 3/8. Theta over 360. And cross multiply. 3 times 360 It's 1,080 divided by 8. 1,080 divided by 8 is 135. It's 135 degrees. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this one as well, because it's actually asking you the length of a 54-degree arc. L equals 2 pi r theta over 360. Just to make sure that you're okay with finding the arc again. Okay, make sure that you don't use 22. Make sure that you use 11, because the diameter was 22, so the radius is 11. Your angle there again was 54. Enter in everything except the pi. 54 over 360 times 11 times 2. You get 3.3. And again, pi goes down because they want the exact answer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop there. Your goal for this lesson is to have a 70 or better. Okay, good luck.